What's good? What's good? Welcome to the Epic Entertainment Critics. I am Antoine.
And I'm still James.
You cut out a little bit there. It was messing up. One more time. Who are you, man?
I am still James.
There you go. All right. Welcome to the podcast, and we got a few things to talk about. We're gonna do a review for the Polar, the Netflix movie Polar, which people call John Wick 1.5. I forgot what they was calling it. But and we're gonna do a couple of trailer reactions. Then we're gonna talk some news about some entertainment news. But before we do that, check out my intro. All right, we back. All right. So watched Polar came out Friday on Netflix. Now Polar is a movie starring Mads Mikkelsen and Vanessa Hudgens. How you say her name? Hudgens. Okay. Yeah, Vanessa Hudgens. She was in High School Musical, by the way. I didn't know that till somebody brought that because I'm not a fan of that. So I didn't know that.
Because the thing I had recognized her from was Powerless, that DC comic sitcom they made on
she's 80. In there? Yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, you had went out.
That shit keeps cutting out.
Okay.
Yeah, it keeps cutting out.
So she's in that show, Powerless. Yeah, she's got one of those looks where she's like cute, but not like way too sexy, but just kind of like cute, like, you know what I'm saying? So it works for the role she played in this movie too. We can talk about the elephant in the room. This movie was real similar to John Wick. So in Polar, it's about a retired hitman that I guess he's just trying to live the rest of his retirement out in some cold community up north. Is that where it was at?
Someplace in Montana.
Right. So, that's what it appeared to be. He just, living in a cabin up north and want to retire from the game. He was a hitman, and the greedy company that he works for want him to do one last job. Sound familiar? Like, this is like every assassin movie. You got one more job and you're out, man. And the job is always some bullshit.
Like, the conversation is always the same too. It's like, look, I told you, I'm done. One more job. This is the last one.
Yeah, it's my last score, man, and I'm out. I just want to get enough to get out the game. This is always your protagonist. This is always his plight. He don't want to do this, but he's doing it because whatever reason. This puts us on his side because it ain't like he's killing for the thrill. It's like he's killed to whatever reason he's killing for. He wants to stop. He's just too deep in the game or whatever, So that makes us more on his side, which is okay. But I tell you, like, immediately I started. I like Mads Mikkelsen, just the way he played the character. I don't know, and sometimes it ain't even his dialogue. It's just the way his demeanor. It says, "I'm tired of this shit." You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying though? Yeah. How his acting just telling me, like, his don't give a fuckery on the way his conversations goes with people, saying that I'm talking to you, but I really want to get the fuck out of here.
No, but definitely. Like, and he has that sort of like well-aged gravitas where it's like, look, son, don't talk to me. You ain't seen the stuff I've been seeing.
Yeah, right. With subtle words, he didn't have to say, you don't know me like that. It just subtle things he say and do, you can just get that feeling and impression from him. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, okay. He wanted to get out the game. They give him one last job. He refuses. And the thing about this, and the story is, this story, when you retire from the company, he worked for like a company. And when you retire from the company, you get a pension. Is that? I think that's kind of how it is. You get a pension.
Yeah.
And I think you get like $8 million, like an $8 million retirement thing.
Like I guess the company, like, because of the way they match it, like some folks get $1 million, some folks get like $2 million. Like, it's just because of how well he's been, how much he's been working, how much he's been putting away. His is going to be $8 million.
Which is any company, when you got a 401k plan, a lot of people they'll match whatever you pay. And when you retire, they give you, whatever you invested times what they gave you. Most people, some companies do 100% of whatever you put in. They put 100% of that. And some companies do like a percentage of what you put in.
Yeah.
So they owe him $8 million. He had 2 weeks on his 50th birthday. So once you turn 50, you're done. You can retire. And he walked away with $8 million. So that's just kind of like where we at in the beginning of the movie. Like, he cool. He just gonna live out his life, and that's where everything kind of kicks in. But I'm gonna talk about the similarities to John Wick, right? So he bought his dog, and you know where I'm going with this, right?
Yep.
So everybody know John Wick it's a big deal with this dog. This dog in John Wick was the reason why he went on with the dog. The dog wasn't originally the reason why, but one of the reasons why they killed his dog in John Wick, and it was his wife gave him the dog. He was really attached to it, and he went after the dude who came after him or whatever, and that was kind of like the main story from John Wick. And so in this story, he gets a dog, and then you be like, oh, they copying off John Wick. He got the dog too. And I'm not gonna say what happened to the dog. But I think by them doing that to that dog, it let you to know this ain't John Wick.
No, I will say Keanu and the rest of the guys that worked on John Wick, like, they're like, that's our one dog. We can't kill another dog in the movie. You get one dog. You get one dead dog in Hollywood.
Well, I mean, the way they did it, it's almost like it was a comedic moment, but it was so tragic that you was like, oh, damn. It was kind of funny, but then it was also like fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, let's just move on from this part.
And because it's Mads, like, you get that brief like blip of humor, and then like, oh man.
I know. So I was like, I felt bad, but I think it was just kind of a let you know this ain't John Wick. You know what I'm saying? We gonna set up kind of like John Wick, but I'm gonna let you know it ain't John Wick.
Like, and I actually had a thought on that I want to come back to later, but because the dog wasn't the real pet of the movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm kind of dumbfounded by what you said is, what is the real pet? Whatever. But you said you want to come back to that. Okay.
Yeah.
So we see, okay, at this point, it's like this. So he got a neighbor, too. He's living, like, in this little cabin. He got a neighbor, Vanessa Hudgens. Is that how you say it? And her character, now, she's like a lady living by herself in this cabin, which is kind of odd to me. Well, I thought it was just odd when I seen her. And, he just kind of, like, look over to her. Who is that? She very kind of shy. They end up like talking to each other like in a diner or whatever, because it's a small town. And I could tell she traumatized though, because every time something like, somebody just like close the door or make a little loud noise, she jump,
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, she traumatized. She either running from like a abusive relationship, or she just had some tragedy happen to her, and she just trying to get away from people or something like that. And he kind of like in the same situation where he just trying to get away from people and kind of live in a quiet community or something like that. So this is where the movie kind of get interested from there, because the company, or this greedy ass company, don't want to pay him his pension. That's kind of like the whole plot of the movie. They don't want to pay him his pension. and they decided to. I don't know if that would be too much of a spoiler. If you think that's a spoiler, because that's got to be the main plot.
It's in the trailer. It's in the trailer.
Okay. So the movie is basically the company don't want to pay him his pension, and they got plans to kill all their retired agents, so they can get all that money. That's the for real plot of why the action kind of kicks off, and he's definitely on the list, and and they kind of using his last job. They're using his last job to set him up. It's one of them deals, and as you know, in these movies, the main character, your main protagonist, he too badass to get caught up in some shit like that.
Like, because even when you're watching, it's like you can see him not liking the setup and saying, "Let me do something about this."
Right. I mean, you can see he's a very cautious person, because every time he calls somebody, he takes the SIM card out. He only talks to people for like 20 seconds, and he takes the SIM card out and destroy it. He do that after every phone call. So he's very cautious, bad. And so that brings this. Now this is the part of the movies that I did not like. So I like the beginning. I like Mads Mikkelsen. I like Vanessa Hudgens, and I'm starting to like the setup. But the parts when it started, I ain't gonna say the movie fell apart. But the parts I didn't like when they introduced the villain. What's that guy name? Did he play anything else?
He's been in a bunch of stuff. He's a British actor, but
so I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen him play anything but a lovable idiot before. Okay, well that's what he was, but he wasn't lovable. He was disgusting. He was like, he was the villain, which he's the head of the company, and like I said, his the way he wanted to not pay his retirees their pension, so he can use that money to sell the company or something, and to broker another deal. So it was all about money, and that's more realistic too, because instead of like some evil, revenge shit, it's always about money. You know what I'm saying? So this brings the villain, which is so over the top. I don't know his name. I forget his name in the movie, but he was like
Mr. Blute.
Blute. Yeah. So he was over the top, disgusting little fat dude with bad hair.
Yep.
Found
out
later
a huge birthmark on his face.
Yeah, with a birthmark on his face. And then all his minions are like over the top, very colorful assassins. That's people that just like weird, you know what I'm saying? Like very standoutish people, which I'm thinking like they some shitty assassins. And then it's a lot of guest stars cameos by people, but they just there just to get killed or just to come on there for a second. So they not like all the cameos meant nothing to the plot. But go ahead.
Hey, look, like how you use Richard Dreyfuss as a throwaway character.
Richard Dreyfuss and Johnny Knoxville at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's other characters. I mean, people pop up. You're like, oh, they in here, but they just somebody to throw on the trailer to let you think that it's a star-studded cast, but it's not. They just made a little cameo appearance, which anybody could have played the roles they played.
Yeah.
But that was they showed off this assassin team, the new young guy, the young guns, I guess. They showed them off at the beginning, and they was like idiots, and it was very like overkill. Like everything they did was overkill and very sloppy to me. If I was looking at, if I was like the Mads Mikkelsen character, I'm looking like, yeah, they took like 5 people to kill one guy, and they did all unnecessary things to kill him, where they could have just basically the company sent their new gunners after the Black Kaiser of Mads Mikkelsen character, and that's why I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. So I'm waiting on them to have a little shootout or showdown or whatever, which was actually good. I was glad when they was gone. So they going around killing all these people looking for him, sloppily, by the way. Mm-hmm. And so when they finally had a shootout, man, that was actually a good shootout scene. Like the whole action scene. One, it got rid of the people I didn't like. And 2, it was a badass moment for your main protagonist. What you think about that scene?
You know what? Like my big, I would tell you what, like showcasing how much better he was than them in the way they did it was like, hey, look, you ain't got time to be scared right now. This is gonna happen.
Right. So, yeah, that's right. He did tell. He was talking to an old girl. So, let me ask you something. I was debating somebody about this. So the way this team, the way the bad guy sniper team set people up is they had a sex girl go in there and seduce the man and have sex with him, and that's when they get him to let his guard down and they can move in on him. That's kind of like they whole, the way they set people up or whatever. And I guess they do that because these are badass assassins that they can't sneak up on. So, of course, the best way to get somebody to let their guard down is why they, get with a woman. So, let me ask you this. I had a debate with this. Do you think that he knew that they was coming? Because I'm gonna set it up because they did the way they set him up. The way they tried to set him up is they had the hot chick come on to him, and usually in these movies, your main protagonist is, I don't have sex unless I'm in love. Not this dude. Not my boy. What was his name in the movie? It was they called him the Black Kaiser. What's his name?
Duncan Visla.
It was Victor?
Visla. Duncan Visla.
Oh, Duncan. Yeah, not Duncan. I'll tell you what, they had the girl seduce him or whatever, and then they cut the scene. Next boy, he was fucking her good. I mean, I think she was to the point where she was like, wait, hold on, call the hit off.
Because like I'm looking at like every single shot where it's like, okay, this is what she's gonna call it. This is where she's gonna call it.
Yeah.
I don't think she's gonna call it.
Hey man, my dude hit her from every position. He put her nipples on the cold window. I was like, oh my, hey, right on, my dude.
Hey, look, once he put her on the glass, I'm like, I don't think she's gonna let him take the shot.
Bruh, you was handling your business. And then I'm gonna tell you another part. When he put the one leg up and started drilling it, I was like, hey, that's where you putting in work.
Hey, look, I'm just about willing to bet that was improv too.
Yeah, I know. Hey, C-Par's like, you know what? We're gonna have to really do this because
you got some moves right here.
Work. So at this point, this is where they make their ambush. They wait which is even dumber because you putting her in the line of fire. But this is they plan. And once they get the man to let his guard down, when they start having sex with the girl that seduces men, they let the guard down. I had a debate with somebody saying that he knew that they was gonna ambush him and he was waiting on the ambush, or was he just needed some and he just fucked the shit out of her. What's your opinion on that?
So like from the jump, like I'm thinking like because they sitting there watching, they have no fucking chill. Like these dudes are the most unsubtle assassins I've ever seen.
That's like, what I'm saying. Leaving a blood trail so
like. Like, and also keep in mind this is a sleepy town in northern Montana. Like, yeah. Every time someone rolls through town, you notice.
I know, so like, I know. But that was the point. My friend was like, yeah, she looked different from everybody's. Like, why are you even here? Look the clothes she had on. You could tell. I believe him, but I was saying that was he just waiting for them to make a move? You know what I'm saying? Or was he just enjoying himself and they just happened to see, the sniper rifle beam come through like, oh shit, but let me jump into action. You know what I'm saying? I was just wondering.
Like, so like the way I was looking at it was like when he saw her, he was like, is this because like keep in mind like he's already got an idea that someone's out killing their retirees. He doesn't know that it's a company, but he knows somebody trying to kill their retirees.
Right, because when the deal when his job went bad, he already knew what they was on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he knew they was coming after him, so he had to be suspicious. I knew he was suspicious of old girl.
So I think it was just let me see where this is going. She might be in on it.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, I would have been thinking like, yeah, she definitely here to kill me. So, you know, I don't know if I should fuck her and let my guard down. But I mean,
like,
yeah, well, he took care of business, and so you know how these movies go, where you know when they make a move on him, you know, I mean, basically he probably just like, I'm gonna play along until they make a move on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's probably where he was, and when they made a move on him, he took care of business again.
With extreme prejudice.
Yeah, like I said, that was one of the best action scenes I've seen in a while. Just the setup, and the way they play with the way you know, snipers and soldiers, the way they, you know what I'm saying, the way they do that. So they like play with the lighting and the infrared and all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. They had a countermeasure for, you know, because you know, once he took the lights out and he was using the night vision, they had a countermeasure for that. You know, they used like a flare or something, so he couldn't see. You know, and I don't want to give away everything, but stuff like that was badass. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, ooh, what he's gonna do now? You know what I'm saying? So that scene was dope. That scene was dope as shit. So we got rid of them losers. So of course, you know, from there on, you know, you got to go to the source. You know, and this is where parts that I was like, okay, this is way too. I ain't gonna say it was unbelievable because the movie already kind of set up to be kind of crazy, but it's something happened to him. You know, kind of like you see this on Taken or whatever. They catch the guy, he get out of it, and then he come back to take him out. But it was basically they caught him and they started torturing him and shit, and they made you know that this torture went on for several days.
Yeah.
No food, loss of blood, injuries that could kill somebody. How you got the strength to fight your way out of there?
You know what? I'd assumed someone had snuck him some crack or something. I'm assuming he wasn't feeling no pain.
I mean,
I don't know.
It's just the fact it'd be different if it happened in one day. Mind you, I know they wasn't feeding him. So mind you, we talking about 4 days without no food, loss of blood, and injuries out the ass.
Just all open wounds.
Yeah, and I'll say, okay, y'all had me up to this point because I was thinking, I knew he was gonna get out of the situation, but I was thinking, okay, before he gets so messed up that he can't get out of the situation, he got to get out the situation. You know what I'm saying? But basically, they put him to a point where he should have been broken down, and then he just fought his way out the situation. And I was like, okay, that's just a little too unrealistic for me. Just a little too unrealistic. But I guess I can't complain because other stuff was unrealistic. But that's where the inconsistency starts for me. Because the movie started off kind of realistic and somewhat, and then it kind of went to a place where it was like, okay, now you expect me to buy bullshit. First, you was being more realistic with it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like,
so I'm gonna wrap this up, man. We went on a little long, but I'm gonna give it a rating. You know what? I want to give this movie an epic. It can't make that epic because of, you know, the little silly stuff in there.
Everything in this movie that isn't Mads Mikkelsen.
Right, the little silly stuff in there where it looks stylistic in the trailer, but it just end up being goofy in the movie, and the villain and you know, all that little goofy shit I can't give it no epic. I want to give it a dope, but I think I might have to give it like I'm gonna have to give it an all right. And that's kind of like a rental because it was fun. It's a fun movie you can chill and watch, but you'll be pissed if you went to the movies because of all the stuff that didn't work. But the stuff that did work is something to build on. This is a lot to build on. So I'm gonna just give it an all right for now, and hopefully in the second movie, if it's a second movie, they can cut out all the goofy shit and come with the main story that's a little more, to me, that's way more worth keeping around. What you give it?
Yeah, after they started introducing the these colorful assassins, like I knew like this movie's gonna be an alright for me.
Yeah, and yeah, the assassins were so dumb, and they was just, and then stuff like the people that they was killing and stuff. They made sure, and this was like the movie. They made sure that they was like people that was like gross or just like felt like they wouldn't be missed or something. Like they had one dude look like I don't know if he was a rapist or something, but he had, she came to the door and the one girl, I don't know her name. I had to look her up. They show her ass more than her face. And every time you seen her, she had on some booty shorts, and they always had the camera up her ass. And I was like, man, this is too much. And you know what I'm saying? Well, so she came to his house, and he had the fucking bed and the camera and gloves on the bed. Like, yeah, girl, get in there. Like, what the fuck?
He had the bed was fucking wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, I know. It was like, okay, this motherfucker, okay, who gonna be mad if you shoot him? Just stuff like that, which is too silly. So I mean, stuff like that took it down for me. But the idea, the actor was actually the main protagonist, the co-star was actually good. So I give it all right. Hopefully we build something on that, make it better next time. All right. So